Hey everyone, Scott here. It's a cold, rainy, cloudy day in February here in Texas, and so I thought I would drink a ripe pu'er today. I kind of really wanted to drink a sheng pu'er, but the weather just really isn't cooperating. So I'm gonna drink a ripe pu'er, and it's a Yunnan sourcing one. I'll show it to you here. This is Lucy's. Here you go, Lucy. She's hungry again. This is the 2015 Lao Cha Tou drier, the Menghai Lao Cha Tou drier, but it's the Yunnan sourcing brand. It's made from Menghai area ripe tea that was wet piled in 2014, and then we pressed it in 2000. Actually, I think it was wet. Yeah, it was wet piled in 2014 from 2014 material, and we pressed it in 2015. I'm using about 5.5 grams here because the surface area of Cha Tou is much less because they're the little nuggets. So the surface area is quite a bit less. So I find that it's good to use more. This is definitely a tea that you can push. Let's get started. And when I get to some of the later steeps and I have some more time to talk, where I won't have to concentrate as much on the timing, I'll tell you a little bit more about Cha Tou. Cha Tou is one of my favorite ripe pu'ers just because it's so smooth, it's hard to overbrew, and it has just a really unique flavor and aroma profile. It's very sweet, it's very fruity. And if it's from a good wet pile batch, it's not musty at all. I'm just going to wash here. I'm doing the, wow, whatever tea I drank last was danky because these cups are all stuck to the, you know, like kind of semi-glued to the tea table from all the tea oils. Yeah, let's get started here. We're ready for some tea. Just going through the kitchen and getting rid of old stuff and food that is condiments that expired and all that kind of stuff. And it's a good feeling getting ready to head out for spring tea in Yunnan, and just want to get everything as ready as I can. So. Oh, nice. Not a dark tea soup, a little bit brown. Definitely it's got a burgundy color as well. Oh, why is it that only Cha Tou has that? It's like this, it's like if you made coffee beans, less roasted and a little sweeter, with a little bit more floral aspect, it would smell like, it smells like cream and coffee and fruit. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going here. I'll let that sit for a second. I don't want to burn myself. It's pouring straight into the cup. We've got more of that danger going on. And Cha Tou is a tea too that if you want to, you can agitate it a little bit. These are small Cha Tou, so they're all, you know, like the size of like, you know, average maybe size of like my pinky fingernail there. But they're, you know, pretty tightly compacted, and they won't really entirely open up. Kind of the outsides will open up. That's why I don't really like the big Cha Tou. They have like big chunks, and those don't taste bad, but they just don't really open at all. And if you break them open, it's funky. I don't think Cha Tou are meant to be pried open. So the small ones are perfect because they have just the right amount of surface area, and they also tend to taste a little bit better too. Well, Lucy's so patient down here. We need a Lucy cam in the little corner, you know. She's such a good girl. She has her feet crossed like this and she's looking at me. I was thinking of getting her up on the table, but she hurt her leg the other day. And it's got better, but I don't want her jumping down, you know. I mean, table's only 3 feet high, but you know, she tends to jump like kind of straight down. So and it's her front leg too. So she's just chilling out here. She's about to turn 8 years old. Kind of a big deal. All right, I'm gonna try this. Oh, wow. It's been like, I think a couple of years since I've had this, and it's really, really nice. It has basically no wet pile taste at this point. Cha Tou in general has less wet pile taste compared to tea that it was wet piled with, if that makes sense, the other grades. I think it's because Cha Tou is like congealed, kind of, so to speak. Like the tea sticks together in the wet piling, and they can't really, you know, they can't pry the little nuggets apart. I mean, if you imagine a whole gymnasium-sized building or larger full of tea wet piling 1 meter high, whatever happens in there is going to happen in there. I mean, they can turn the pile. But so what happens is that Cha Tou is the result of the tea in the wet piling process just kind of naturally like sticking together, the oils and stuff, and it sticks together. And there's various sizes of Cha Tou, and when they're done with the whole batch, they grade the tea, you know, gongting, teji, et cetera, getting larger and larger. And then, you know, there's Cha Tou, and there's typically 3 sizes of Cha Tou that they separate into. The smallest one being typically the most expensive and the most sought after, because it's really suitable for pressing or even blending, which I have done as well. So smooth. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Year of the Goat tea, and I do believe that one of the teas in the Year of the Goat cake, the 2015 Year of the Goat, not Green Miracle, the other one, the other Year of the Goat, not Yang Lohan, the other one, the one that doesn't actually have a goat on it, it just has the goat characters. I do believe that they are from the same wet pile batch, and that tea actually has Cha Tou in it. I think there was some of this tea, in fact. So if you're a fan of that tea, you definitely might want to check this one out. It's not going to be the same because it's not, you know, this is purely Cha Tou, and the other one had some Cha Tou and some leaf, various grade leaf from the same wet pile batch. But really good tea. Every time you come across these teas, and then a couple years out, you're like, oh, I didn't buy enough, you know, and it's usually ripe tea, because ripe tea is, wow. It has like a beany taste, a little bit of chocolatey taste, but creamier chocolatey, like milk chocolatey. You're such a good girl, Lucy. Crunch, 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 crunch. You know what it is? I bought these glasses. I've had them for like almost a year now, and they just fall off. They're starting to fall off my face. I can't figure out why. I have no idea why. When I first got them, they were like, you know, they wouldn't move at all, and then now they move. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I lost weight. All right, I'm gonna get to this third steeping here. This is the best yet. I am tasting very slight wet pile taste though. So if you're really sensitive to wet pile taste, do know that this has just a touch left after these years. Very nice. That kind of musky, sweet fruit, a little like dried bean, like roasted bean taste going on there. A little dry, kind of like almost like oiliness, where that kind of hangs out in the mouth there. Really interesting. All right, wow, 5 steeps there. I'm actually gonna, a lot of water there. Probably don't need to reboil it. Let's keep going. So the 4th steep here, pretty dark, probably the darkest. The 5th steep slightly less, but I think I didn't really time that right. I'm actually thinking of using a timer like my phone or something to create like a, if I want to make a plan, especially when I'm making the video or just drinking and I'm distracted, it's good to keep myself, the steepings, you know, increasing over time. There's almost like a minty cooling kind of aspect with this tea too. It's very interesting. Each steep is really got its own unique aspect to it. Whoa, I think I'm getting hit with a little caffeine. It's just like taking shots here, you know, boom, boom, boom. But I'm feeling it. I don't know. I was kind of in a hurry before I started the video. I was doing all this stuff, trying to get stuff done, and kind of get spun out, and then taking shots of really strong ripe tea. I need to take it down a notch. Oops, I dropped your cookie, Lucy. Sorry. Can you hear the crunchy? Oh, she's a good girl. Aren't you? All right, I'm actually gonna re-boil here because I really, Cha Tou really likes hot. I was gonna use the silver teapot because that would have been probably the most appropriate, but then I would have had 2 cups of tea, and I probably, knowing me, I would have just guzzled them all down, and I would be, you know, not able, but not in the best shape to drink. I have a couple more teas that I want to drink today. Not in a video, just for, you know, myself, but, or rather for everybody, for evaluation, and to see, you know, are they good or not. We get a lot of samples. Over the years, because we work with growers and suppliers for so many years now, we tend to not just get really crappy tea sometimes, but usually never. This is so smooth. I guess you could consider Cha Tou to be a more, the degree of wet piling to be greater. Even if the wet pile batch as a whole, it would be, let's say, a medium to light level of wet piling or fermentation. Cha Tou within that same batch would definitely be another 20% or more higher. Not to say that, I think that the inner part maybe perhaps is the inner part which you're not really accessing so much when you brew the tea. Unless maybe you boiled it, it would be hard to access that inner part because it's so tightly compressed. That actually may have a lower degree of wet piling. I don't know. Cha Tou is kind of one of those, not mysteries, but it's just kind of one of those things that I kind of have just accepted as it is what it is, and I like it. So I do understand how they come about. But I've always found that within a given wet pile batch, the Cha Tou will have a higher degree of wet piling compared to the batch as a whole, because they get stuck together and they're not able to, you know, breathe. And what's up, Lucy? Yeah, I know. You're gonna have to wait a little while though. I don't know if it's all Dobermans are just always hungry all the time, or maybe it's, I've also heard that female dogs, or especially hunting and, you know, really high prey drive dogs have a really incredible appetite. Lucy's definitely has an appetite. If she ever gets, if she ever doesn't eat, then I know she's sick or about to be sick, because she literally has to be really, really sick to not eat. I've basically never seen her not eat. And the only time she didn't eat was when she was really, really sick, or about to be really sick. So thankfully, she's been really healthy. She's been really, really healthy for the last couple of, almost 2 years now. I guess it was just under 2 years ago that she had, or about a year and a half ago that she had sarcoma on her leg, and that was removed, and she's been fine since. Yeah, she has a pretty nasty scar though. Really stable, just smooth. This is just a really enjoyable tea. Really smooth, fruity, sweet. There's just a little bite of astringency and bitterness there, but only enough to counter the sweetness, to remind us that we're in fact drinking tea. So that was steep number 6. I pushed it a little bit and the tea soup came out just as dark. There is one thing I can say about Cha Tou, is that it is very, very infusible. Like this deep's color, the same as this one, the same as number 4, where it was actually the deepest color was at 4. It started kind of getting deeper color, a deeper, you know, color of brown red. Steep 4, then 5, 6, 7, and 7 is basically exactly the same as 4. So, wow. This would be a really good tea, I think. Although we do have older versions, we have a 2014 Lao Cha Tou Zhuan. We have a 2014 Cha Tou Shengyun, which is a Jingu Cha Tou. We have a 2012 Lao Cha Tou Zhuan brick, which was the first one that we made. Excuse me. And also 2012, 2011 Cha Tou Shengyun. We have a 2009 Cha Tou Shengyun, which is our first Cha Tou that we created in 2009 from Jingu tea. That's completely sold out. And that's a really classic one, extremely aromatic, really incredible tea. I have a few bricks that I've kept over, hoping to keep them, you know, for the long term. Oh, the added water definitely got more out, a little more oils and viscosity coming back on this steep here, which is incredible considering how hard we push this thing. Wow, this is really solid. This is good. The other thing that you can try is take some of this and then mix it with like gomting or actually any kind of ripe tea. It could be loose leaf or it could be Bing. If you wanted to give it a little more mellowness and sweetness, you could do that. Or just try blending with you could also blend like a couple of, if you wanted just to have a pleasure sheng pu'er, you could drop in a couple of these things. I've actually seen that with some xiaoguan mushrooms from the 90s where they actually put just about less than 10% ripe tea in with the raw, which is really interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Lucy. Did I not give you a cookie? Well, all right, steep number 8. Same color tea soup, dark. Going on to number 9 here. Wow. I'm getting a feeling that this is going to go probably 15 steeps or more. I once joked to Xiao, I was like, wow, can you imagine if everybody that drank ripe pu'er just drank Cha Tou? Like, we wouldn't have much of a business, would we? Because it's like such an economical ripe tea to drink, because it just goes and goes and goes and goes, and it's good. So anyways, I'll drink this one. Fake tea out. Yeah, it just keeps coming back, and it's almost got almost this like old, like if you drink like a 25-year-old really well stored, maybe, you know, like a not wet stored, but like a tropical stored but really well stored sheng pu'er. It starts to taste like this, actually. Fascinating. The later steeps, not the early steeps, the later steeps taste like a really old, well-aged sheng pu'er. Not exactly. Definitely not exactly, but the idea did pop into my head. Wow. So smooth, and it's just it's got this real satisfying like downward movement too, into the stomach and into the chest. It's not a heady tea. I did get a little hit of caffeine chachi. But anyways, we're gonna leave it there. We got to 8 steeps, number 9's here. This is a tea that you can steep many, many times. And you can blend it, you could boil it, you could make it Western style. Just remember to use a little bit more normally than you normally would, especially in a gaiwan or something like that. And silver might help a little bit in terms of squeezing out the flavor from the tea. But I tend to use about maybe 30% more for Cha Tou than I would for, you know, like a loose leaf tea or loose leaf ripe, or even a ripe that I've, you know, prepared into, you know, sheets. So anyways, that's it. Check it out. 2015 Lao Cha Tou Zhuang. This is again a Yunnan sourcing brand. There's a lot of other producers who make a Lao Cha Tou Zhuang, which basically just means old tea nugget brick. But yeah, this is a really tasty tea and pretty affordable as well. So check it out, and thanks for watching. See you next time.